everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with voice actor and producer Sophia DuJardot. Hey, Sophia, welcome back.
Hi. Hi. Thanks so much for having me.
It's great to have you back. And today, I want to talk a little bit more about the audio production process with you. So, what would you say are the steps or stages involved into turning a book into an audiobook?
Well, this is multifaceted. So, one of the first things that an author is going to want to do is to start marketing their book. You're going to want to, even if your book is not out for sale, you're going to want to put it out on social media, tell friends, tell family, tell everyone that you can. And this is going to start the process because one of the first things that a narrator is going to do is they're going to go look you up. They're going to look up your website. They're going to look up your social media to see how many followers you have. And are you engaged in talking about to sell this amazing book that you've created? So
Mm.
that would be step one. Make sure that you're doing those marketing pieces. The second step would be you can get on multiple sites. There's places like ACX. Of course, I default back to social media. Go in and find what kind of narrators you like and
Mm.
reach out to them and say, hey, I really like your voice. Do you have availability? Would you like to talk about this? And if they don't have time, I guarantee they will probably know somebody who does. So those
Right.
are great first steps that you can do to start that process and get the communication open about your audiobook.
And what would you say is a realistic timeline for these
Mhm.
different steps and stages from starting the book to the completion of
Mhm.
it?
So that can vary. It depends on how long your book is, of course. The longer the book, the longer it's going to take, of course. It's also finding the person that you mesh with and knowing their time frame.
Mm.
Most narrators that I know are booked out a couple of months in advance. That's not to say all of them are, but many of them are. So it's good to start a few months prior to the release. Even if your book is not completely finished, even if you're waiting on a publisher, start the process of interviewing narrators. It's very important to get on their schedule early. Earlier is better than later. Then, from the time that you have done your 15-minute read with the narrator and you're like, yes, this is going to work, you're the narrator I want, it can vary anywhere from, if you have a shorter book, it could be 2 weeks. If you have a longer book, it could be anywhere from 30 to 45 days. After they're done narrating, it can take up to 2 weeks for the approval from ACX through, like, to actually get on Audible. So that in itself is about anywhere from 15 to 30 days. So that should give you a time frame. You want to start about 3 months before you actually want the book to be out.
That's very realistic.
Yeah.
Yes, and gracious.
Yes.
And how would you say that an audiobook is typically broken down? Is it by chapter?
Yes, absolutely. So there's parts where you can have an intro in there. They're very specific about what you can and can't do in there, but the audiobooks themselves are broken into chapters, so the narrator will record chapter by chapter. And the cool thing is, like what a narrator like myself does, so I have everything kept in a cloud, and as I narrate and finish a chapter, I have it set to where the author can go in and listen chapter by chapter. So if there are any like, oh, you mispronounced this character's name, we can take care of it right away, not at the end of the book and you're going, oh my gosh, this has to be completely redone.
Right. Yeah.
So that process is very fluid. And having that set up where people can look at everything is very helpful as well. So for both author and the narrator.
And how do you typically handle character voices and accents in audiobooks? And what should authors
Yeah.
consider when their book includes diverse characters?
Absolutely. So, one of the things that authors need, so I only work with character voices that I know I can absolutely do. Like, do not ask me to do a British accent. It is not happening. I cannot do it. So, it's incredibly important up front to provide at least a small, even a single page document to a narrator and say, these are the characters, their gender, their age range, and if like where they're from in the world. So they could be from Quebec, but they now live in Florida. They're still going to have a little bit of that accent, and the narrator needs to know that because if they can't do that kind of accent, they may not be a good mesh for you. Or
Right.
as an author, you may say, you know what? it is a fact that they're supposed to be like this, but we're just going to forego it and just read the story as is. And sometimes they do that. So, um, having that information, a single page document with character, where they're from, and a little bit of background information on the character will greatly help your narrator.
I think that's fantastic. And I love how that's all just said and decided up front. And then also
Mhm.
the fact that sometimes authors just let the narrator have a little artistic liberty, which I think is fair as well, because you
Yeah.
are the voice actor.
Yes. And
Yeah.
especially if there's like in fiction books, that's also very helpful to just say, it's a made up language. Just go with it. Just come up with something different for each of these different characters. That's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, always. Well, Sophia, thank you so much. That was great insight on audiobook production.
Yes, you are so welcome.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with voice actor and producer Sophia DuJardot. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.